Isaac, you asked Obama two questions at the press conference this week. Did you know you were going to be called on?
Well, they asked me whether I was going to be at what they were still calling a briefing at that point. They weren't officially calling it a press conference.
And they usually don't care if you're there or not.
They never count.
So why did they decide in advance to call on you?
I don't know.
Are you a softie or something?
Well, they didn't seem to think so based on the questions.
How do you decide what to ask?
Well, I started with a list of about 7 or 8 questions, talked about it internally here with a couple of people.
Yeah, we saw that list.
And then we started with a whole different set of 7 or 8 questions. Eventually worked it down to 3, which I had printed out in front of me and I was making some notes on even in the last couple of minutes before the president called on me. I decided to sneak in 2 questions. I had a third one that was on a totally different topic.
How did you get the second one in? Did you just yell and
You just don't stop talking. So I didn't pause for more than a half second when I asked the first question about Obamacare politics. I just said, and also on Ukraine.
To me, the strategy should always be outsmart the White House, think of something they're not thinking that you'll ask.
Well, that's certainly part of it. We were talking about not only what we could ask, but what the potential responses to it would be, how we word the questions differently so that he would not be able to wiggle out of it so much. So, for example, on the Ukraine question, I asked him whether the military option was on the table for Russia. And the way that I phrased it purposefully was, in other discussions, like with Iran, he has said, even with negotiations going on, the military option is on the table. So is that the case for Russia? So then he had real parameters to work in and couldn't just wave it off. And he did, that prompted a pretty good answer from him.
Now, he didn't seem to know your last name or what?
Well, I think he had the pronunciation in front of him. He seemed like he decided that it would be safer to not mispronounce my name.
So what is the proper pronunciation?
Dovere. It's really easy, I think. I don't know, but I've been saying it my whole life.